Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I am Matt McRae, agent and success coach here at fexsuccess.com. Today's topic, we're going to talk about why are telemarketing leads in the final expense niche not viable for long term. So, you know, agents typically love or hate telemarketing leads. Beyond that, it's a great lead, but it's not good for the long term. And the reason, we're going to go through the reasons for that now, but let's just take a look. I asked our data supplier company, the company that supplies us with the data, to run some counts. And I chose a highly populated area. We went with Cleveland, Ohio. We pulled the entire county, Cuyahoga County here in Ohio. We asked them to give us some counts on people who are 50 to 80 years old. Now, this is from the database company. This is their data, but the numbers that they came back with, there's 426,000 people who are 50 to 80 in the database in Cuyahoga County. So out of those 426,000, the next number I asked for was how many of these people are we able to call that are not on the do not call list? And that number came back at 63,000. So it's like 15% of the people we're able to call. 85% of the population in that county. And it's much like every county across the country is very much like that. 85% of the people are on the national do not call list or on a state do not call list, and we're simply not allowed to call and market to them for any type of product, whether it's final expense or Medicare or anything. We're just not allowed to call them. So right there, that's reason number one that wipes out why they're not, why telemarketing leads aren't good for the long term. So let's boil these numbers down a little bit further. Once you start calling those 63,000, you're not going to get in touch with all 63,000. Typically, there's going to be people who it's going to go to answer machine. There's going to be people that just simply don't answer, because you got to remember, those 63,000 people are being called all the time because they're the only people in Cuyahoga County that can be called that are 50 to 80 years old. So they get calls from telemarketing companies all the time. They're inundated with calls. So what do? They stop answering the phone. They just stop answering the phone. See, my phone just rang, and that wasn't playing. My phone just rang, and I just turned the volume down. I'm not answering it. I'll call them back. But anyways, so there's a lot of competition calling those 60,000 people. Those people just eventually stop answering the phone. So let's boil it down. You can get down to about 20,000 people will probably answer the phone, 21,000. About 1/3 of the people that you're calling are going to answer the phone and actually have a live connect and give a chance to a telemarketer. So out of those 21,000, let's do the numbers. Let's say that 3% of them, and that's high. You do a direct mail, excuse me, you do a direct mail and maybe 1% return. But let's go with 3%. So 3% of that 21,000 is about 630 people you're going to be able to convert into a lead. So how many leads does an agent need? 25 leads a week is a good number for a telemarketing lead. So 630 divided by 25, that's enough leads to run you about 25 weeks, maybe 6 months worth of business. And at that point, you're hitting a dead end. What do you do now for leads? Well, hopefully somewhere along the line you decided to stop using the telemarketed leads and you started buying some direct mail. Now, direct mail is typically going to take about 3 weeks to kick in before you're going to start getting any. And they're more expensive, but it's going to be out of those, if you're doing direct mail, you're going to be able to mail everybody in that county that's 50 to 80 years old. You can even narrow your target market down even more. Let's say you like age 59 up to 78. You can narrow it down. You still got hundreds of thousands of people that you can mail. And if you're doing 1,000 to 2,000 piece mailer a week, that's going to last you a lot longer, excuse me, than these telemarketed leads are. So another thing, cell phones. We're not allowed to call people that have cell phones, and that's where the industry's moving. Fewer and fewer people are having a landline in their home. They're switching to cell phones. Cell phones, we're not allowed to call those people. So as we move into the future, it's going to be even harder to do telemarketing. So I suggest now that you get started doing direct mail as soon as you can. Now, telemarket leads, yes, they're a great way for an agent to get started in the market because you can get leads quick and they're cheap. So a quick turnaround, cheap lead, much lower investment. It can get you started in the final expense business where you can start working your way to purchasing direct mail leads. But I recommend getting into the direct mail leads as fast as possible. So those are the reasons that we don't recommend, and those are the reasons that final expense telemarketed leads just don't last long term for agents in any specific area. And what I did was I used numbers on a very large populated area. Imagine if you're working in areas that aren't as big as Cleveland, Cuyahoga County. I mean, you're going to have to just keep jumping around from county to county and doing a lot of traveling. So that's why telemarketed leads won't last the long term. I hope you liked the video and you got something out of it. If you did, make sure that you thumbs up the video. If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that right away. That way, each time that we upload a new video, which is a couple times a week, you're going to get a notification. We do question of the week and we do training of the week. We want you to be involved and see those videos. But for now, great selling. Thanks and have a great day.